Okay, so I am working on some homework. I'm taking a sustainability and business course. And I just wanted to share with you some interesting stuff I've come across while working on this quiz. So in the class, we're being asked to, well, the actual question I'm asking is what organization can you turn to for a sustainability snapshot report on common products? And this website, the sustainabilityconsortium.org, would be the place I would go for that. I'm somewhat familiar with this organization because they are affiliated with my university. Um, but honestly, I've tried to get on the website before, and I think this would be maybe a criticism, but I mean, I'm not like the main user, I don't think, for this organization. Um, because from what I understand, let's see, it's a nonprofit organization transforming consumer goods industry to deliver more sustainable products. So my understanding of what the Sustainability Consortium does is I think these companies like they work with different companies to try to find ways to make their brands more sustainable. So, and to be honest, I don't know exactly what they do with that, but I just want to. That's the gist that I get from it. And I didn't really know, like, I'd kind of poked around on the website before, but it wasn't really straightforward to see kind of like what information as just like a regular person wanting to know more about the sustainability of products could have. But I found something kind of interesting that relates to another question that I have here. So one of the questions is um, think about a lip balm and talk about some of the stages of the life cycle. Basically, like how is it produced? You know, what are the stages that it goes through from like the initial production to kind of end of life. And then the question wants me to identify some hotspots. And since the other question had me look at the sustainability snapshot, I thought, well, let me look at the one for lip balm. And so it wasn't for me super clear on how to get to these sustainability snapshots. And so I wanted to kind of show you where I found that and where you can kind of look up some information. I mean, it's pretty vague information from what I'm seeing so far, but information on sustainability aspects of different products. And let's see, what it was this thesis system. And from what I understand, this thesis program or system or whatever it is, um, I think companies can kind of sign on to this. And I assume maybe the Sustainability Consortium works with them to like fill this out. So the thesis stands for the Sustainability Insight System. And what I gather from it is the companies go through and they answer all these questions. They like kind of think about what practices they're currently using, identify what areas they could be working on to be more sustainable, and then by doing this kind of like in-depth overview um, of their product production, they can identify areas where they can be better. So they give an example down, like, I don't know, all of this just seems very corporate and it's a lot of like tag words, but uh, I'm finding now there is, I think, some usable information on here. So I just kind of want to show you what I came across. So they give an example here of this thesis system, and it's an assessment on, so if a brand produces coffee, they would do an assessment on just the coffee. And what I like about this, because we've recently looked at like getting certified as a B Corp, and how this is different is it looks like instead of looking at like the whole brand at once, it looks at individual products that the brand produces, to see for that product where can they be more sustainable, and then also kind of show like if you reach certain levels of sustainability, these are the kind of like sustainability certifications you can get. So I'll quit talking and just show you real quick what I found. So here, you can click on this and it brings you to a page about coffee. And they have these documents you can download to look at coffee. And so I've already got them brought up. So it looks like this is maybe something that the companies would look at. And so basically what they do is they've gone through they've identified these key performance indicators specific to coffee that the company will should focus on. And so it has these questions at the beginning based on these key performance indicators. And so you answer these questions. So, what percentage of your crop can you identify the country of origin? So this is kind of like how well do you track back your supply chain for your own product. From the very beginning, from where the coffee beans are purchased. Maybe these big companies purchase them from another company, but can they, track back, where they were purchased, and just kind of questions like that. It goes through all of these things that has to do with the different practices. And then it goes through each of those performance indicators. So here was like number one with the crop supply mapping. And then it goes deeper into that question. And then it talks a little bit about how would you calculate these things. And then it looks at, based on your responses, these are some of the certifications and tools you can find to kind of help you with that. So it looks like there's a tool that you can help calculate your greenhouse gas emissions based on some of those things. And some of these other things had different like certifications. Okay, so for like sustainable production, you can look here and see like what sort of different certifications can you get. Rainforest Alliance, I think most people are probably pretty familiar with. And so it just kind of goes through all of those areas and just helps you see like if you were doing really well, where would it be and what sort of certifications could you get if you did improve this. So that seems to be that. And then another thing they have on the page is they make a diagram with some of the hotspots in the supply chain in terms of sustainability. And it looks like most of the hotspots here are in coffee bean production. And then there's a couple of other hotspots here. I would think that consumer use would have some hotspots because consumers have to like use energy and stuff like that. But I guess it just drops it off after that. But yeah, so this is just in the supply chain, I guess, of them producing the product, and then once it gets to the retail, like that's a whole other thing. Okay, and then it's got these little things here. So in the processing, you're looking at health, safety, and human rights. And this one, you're packaging, you're looking at climate and energy. What is this? I didn't scroll down to this last time. Okay, so these are the hot spots. And then these are the key performance indicators, I guess, that it goes through down here. So yeah, you can just look at what product. They give this as an example. But the thing you can access, it looks like this might be just accessible for maybe the companies wanting to like enroll in this program. But what you can access, it looks like, is these sustainability snapshots of the different products. And it just kind of goes through each area and talks about what areas of sustainability are impacted by coffee. So, maybe there's some things you don't think about, like just with the coffee, some of the different areas that it touches on in terms of sustainability. So let me show you. So this one was just for coffee. They just give you kind of an example of coffee. Another thing I found in terms of the thesis. Sorry, I always have a million tabs open. So this is just on the main thesis page. I got here by what we offer, and then it says thesis. And then I scrolled down, there's the coffee, and then it talks about, why someone would want to do this. And basically, it seems more or less like you want to do this to just get ahead, because sustainability is coming, because we literally can't keep living with the consumption patterns and everything that we're currently using right now. So for companies that want to kind of get ahead of the curve, they can start looking at these areas and identifying areas that they may want to focus on. And it looks like they have several brands actually that have already started doing this. I feel like I found a link somewhere that showed like a list of the different company. Oh yeah, users. There's quite a few of them actually. So these are all the people that are that they've partnered with or that have partnered with them to look at their sustainability. And then where was I? And then they show some examples of some big brands that have actually done theirs. And I guess they go through and they give you kind of like a ranking. It seems like some of the other things, like the B Corp and things like that. So, like with Campbell's, they just kind of talk about their sustainability, and then these were the two products that they used the assessment on. So they got a score of 70, rank 1 of 16. I'm assuming that means maybe they have 16 companies that have evaluated juice, and Campbell's ranked 1 in juice and condiments and sauces. And then they're just kind of plugging it, like why Campbell's thought it was useful. With Clorox, it's like a similar thing. They were looking at cleaning wipes, this and this, and got their score and their ranking. But that's just what that is. But let me see if I can find out where I was able to look at the different products. This is what I mean, like it's not super easy. Actually, I can't even remember where I found it. I think I may have just Thesis product finder. Yes, that's it. Okay, so for our purposes, if you're not a brand wanting more information about this or whatever, go to what we offer and then Thesis product finder. And so here it's different because it's not specific brands, but you kind of go into the area that you want to look at and click on one of these. And so since I'm wanting lip gloss, I clicked on this personal and home and personal care. I wonder if I can search this. Lip balm. No. Okay, never mind. So what I was looking at before for this was I figured I would try to find something somewhat related. So I went here to the makeup. And so basically it has the sustainability snapshot for makeup products. And so, one area is animal welfare, consumer health. So it just gives some tips like manufacturers. You want to look for manufacturers who list their ingredients, make sure they're in line with regulatory standards, looking at the supply chain. Palm oil is a big one that people are concerned about. Just talks about, some of the different areas of sustainability that the different products touch on. And so, you can just go through these different products and look at the different issues concerning them. They're all a little bit different. Oh, wait, facial? No. That's similar. But yeah, that's it. I just came across this and thought it was something interesting that I may use in the future. If I'm going to be like looking at purchasing products, just to kind of think a little bit more about what goes into making it and what sustainability aspects to consider. So That's it. If you want to check out more stuff from the Sustainability Consortium, they may have more things in this products and case studies and things like that. I'm taking a sustainable supply chain class this summer, and I'm assuming we may be getting into some stuff. I'll probably be coming across some more stuff as I get into that and maybe figuring out a little bit more about what they do. I'd be surprised if they didn't talk about the TSC at some point in that class. So, anyway,